Holy crap. Oh, it's so loud in my ear. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Alright, I'm gonna keep this in a different tab. I'm on mic. I'm all ready. I'm all ready to go. Holy crap, this music is so loud in my ear. I have to take it out whenever I stream. Alright. Everything's live. Woo! Alright. Actually, wait. Hello? Oh, it's picking up your rattling. I was wondering what that was. It's fine. Wait. Is that working? Let me turn this up a little bit. Okay. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know if you can hear me. I think it's working. Just let me know. Oh, did I turn it up too loud? Okay. Let me know if the music's too loud as always, because I rewatch old streams and then it's like, oh man, it's too quiet, and then some streams it's like, oh my gosh, it's like I'm gonna die. It's so loud. But yeah, we're doing another art stream, which is pretty predictable at this point. they kind of solidified that I draw. But we're also gonna be working on a video that I'm about to finish. Actually, I only have 2 frames or 2 little drawings left, and then I'm gonna be finished with this video. So yeah, very excited. So with that being said, let's go ahead and get started. You know, Zach is actually, he's hot-headed, but he doesn't really show it. He's actually he keeps a really calm and cool composure, like I've said before. Like, he's definitely a lot more chill than Rose. He acts a lot more calm than Rose, but by far, like, Zach definitely does not, he doesn't really put up with a lot. he does not put up with a lot. But he tries to put on a cool face, and for the most part, he has a lot more patience than, than the average Souls of Paradise person. Like, a lot of them are very, are very irritable people, you know? They're working for a cause that a lot of people are against, and so, that tends to really, upset them, you know? Because they're like, man, no one else understands, we have to be a part of this group, destroy the afterlife, no one else understands us, you know? They kind of have that mentality, so. But Zach remains calm for the most part. He doesn't really yell. He doesn't really raise his voice. If someone's annoying him, he just goes, oh, you gotta go. And he'll just, kick them out. he'll just kick them all out. Waltzy them out. And then that's the end of it, you know. That's kind of the extent. He doesn't really, he puts up with a lot more than you would expect. But especially with Rose, she definitely gets on everyone's nerves. Everyone, you know, you're having a nice chill dinner or something, as a ghost, and you're the Souls of Paradise group, and Rose just comes waltzing in with hip hop music playing out of a loud stereo on her shoulder or something. She's just like, "What's up?" And she's yelling and screaming and partying, and everyone just turns around and looks at her, and they're all silent. But they party along because they're afraid of what she'll do if they don't. So, you know, definitely, it's just a Rose moment. Definitely a Rose moment. It's like live slug reaction, that one meme, live slug reaction, except it's live Zach reaction. I should do that. I have a live Ray reaction. Live Ray reaction. And it's just Ray just 100% done with everyone. Done with Zack, done with Rose, done with Souls of Paradise, done with all the shenanigans. I think it would depend on what you did. I think if you were like, you just did something kind of stupid, they'd just like kick you out for a couple days and be like, you gotta do this process to rejoin. You gotta take like this oath thing. You gotta make sure you're loyal. You really wouldn't get severely punished that bad unless it was like something you critically did wrong. Like, for example, spying. I actually have a spy character who spies on Souls of Paradise to get information for Ray. And this spy character, he is in danger every single time he does it because, yeah, bad things could happen if you get caught. For example, being a test subject for the laser machine. Definitely not fun. Definitely not great. Definitely not something you want to do. So something like that's serious would definitely get you to the souls in like the corner. But they wouldn't like destroy you. They would just basically punish you by experimenting on you. And that's what's happened to a lot of ghosts, unfortunately, in Souls of Paradise. You'll see some of them have scars. Those are punishments, for something they did really wrong. But Zack surprisingly has empathy, so he doesn't just punish anyone just to punish them. But he is very strict, and he will kick you out very quickly if you are not willing to be a part of the Souls of Paradise group. If you're not willing to do what they're doing at the expense of your own time or the expense of your own welfare or something, a lot of them are like, well, you're a ghost, like, come on, like, you can handle this. And so they just take their work very seriously. They don't really want people to come in and mess around and not focus on their goal, which is creating lasers to destroy the afterlife as a whole. Effectively shutting down the wormhole is their first option, is their first goal. And like I mentioned, I think in last stream or something, actually I don't know if I mentioned this in a stream yet, but a big part of potentially some lore related stuff, it actually does have to do with the wormhole being shut down. I don't know if I can spoil it here, but because I just realized how like really spoiler heavy it is, but the wormhole being like potentially shut down is a big reason why one of the characters died, and I'll just say that one of the main characters. And so yeah, not Zack, but someone else. Zack's death is really interesting. It takes place far before any of the other ghosts are even born or even existing or even their parents existed. I'm not going to spoil Zack's time period yet, though, because I kind of want to hint at it more in animatics and future animatics. But he comes from an older time, for sure. Definitely doesn't act like it, though. He acts a lot more modern because, like, new ghosts and old ghosts, a lot of them, like, fight over this, actually. It's, like, a point of contention. So, what I mean by new and old ghosts is, I mean, like, hundreds of years ago in the ghost society, people were more like traditional ghosts. They were like, oh, we're gonna stay in our clothes that we died in, because you actually can stay in the clothes you died in, which is kind of like something that happens in like media and stuff, like movies and TV shows and whatnot. The ghosts will be wearing the last thing that they wore before they died, and it'll be like some old timey outfit they died in the 1800s and so on and so forth. And a lot of the new ghosts, they don't do that anymore. They just change out their outfits and they just kind of act more like normal people. Which is kind of why my characters don't really look like ghosts most of the time. I mean, I'm trying to do that just by design choice too. Like, I'm trying to get away from that. But they also don't act like traditional ghosts. They also use their soul powers, which actually a lot of older ghosts sometimes don't like to use. Phantoms have gotten a lot more accustomed to it because they've realized just how like important that power can be and how useful it can be. But like, you'll have ghosts from like the 1800s who are still like, no, I'm not going to do that. Like, and a lot of them also stay on Astromia and haunt places, kind of like a traditional ghost would do. So, definitely kind of an interesting part of the lore. I thought it would be funny to add something like that. Oh, that was when Carter died. That was when they died. I think you're referring to The Devil Like Me. I believe that's in the Devil Like Me animatic, and Dorothea was telling Zach that Carter was dead, because potentially Carter's death could have been maybe related to Zach, potentially. And there's a reason for that too. Essentially Zach, kept track of what kind of people Ray got close to, what kind of people Ray involved himself with. And even though Carter's kind of separate from the other cast, they don't really, meet until Carter dies and comes to the afterlife. But once Carter dies, that's when Ray and Mantis meet him in the forest. That one picture I illustrated. And, they don't realize at that point, though, that anything that they've done is connected. So it's all kind of connected. I'm really excited putting the story together like that. But yeah, Dorothea was basically just informing him about it, informing Zach about the death of Carter, and Zach's like, oh, it's all coming into play. He's realizing his plan's working. So yeah, really, really interesting to write about. I love stuff like this. I love connecting stories and putting everything together and kind of forming it, and I'm so excited. I have some more videos coming that deal with Zach, of course, and I really want to give Dorothea his own video as well. Mantis I will go ahead and say, yes, Mantis's death is also related to Zach. It is related. They're connected in a lot of different ways. Not every main character's death was related to Zach, though. For example, Isaac and Chloe, their deaths are completely separate from Zach. So they died in different ways that was not related. Oh my gosh, I keep forgetting about the lore video! No! Okay, I'm writing a couple different scripts right now for some commentary videos. Oh my gosh, I totally forgot to work on the lore video. I'm so sorry. I promised you guys that video so long ago. I want to make it. It's just gonna be like a long video. It's just gonna be so long, so I gotta still work on it. I do have a plan for it though. I already have a little bit of the script written. But I was working on other things. I was working on other videos, and I totally forgot. I'm so sorry. I really do deeply apologize. I really do want to work on it. I'm sorry I keep saying it. I will hold my word accountable. Because I love talking about this stuff. And I might as well. I might as well make a lore video because I go so in depth in these live streams. And there's only so much I can go in depth about until I'm like, wait a second. Sometimes I miss saying things and sometimes my things aren't coming out right. And so I'm like, oh, I really need to look at my script and look at all the stuff I've written down for Ghost Mask and figure it out. Oh yeah, honestly, I love the theories. Please keep them coming. I absolutely love reading people's theories about it. It makes me so happy. I just love seeing what y'all think about it and what y'all may theorize about it next. So definitely, I love the theories. And I'm trying to be careful to confirm some things that I want to confirm and confirm some things I want to keep a little bit more hidden. But I know I can't keep everything hidden because if I keep everything hidden, you're not going to have much story to work with, to talk about. So I am trying to be a little bit more open about things I originally was going to hold back. Because I'm like, well, some of these things there's really no point. I mean, I'm obviously, trying to have the line between not revealing too much and not revealing too little. But yeah. Oh yeah, I definitely think Rose is one of the scarier characters, for sure. I just think she's just, it's just so manic and unpredictable, and I think that's what really scares me about her is she has no predictability. She could be really chill one day and then just completely insane the next, and yeah, she's all over the place. But for the most part, she's a very deceitful kind of evil too, very deceitful because she looks so nice and sweet on the background, and then you actually realize what she's done, and you're like, oh my god. Oh my god, she's so scary. Especially with the possession, multiple possession, that's something a lot of ghosts don't go to. That's a line that a lot of ghosts don't cross. So the fact that she's willing to cross that, yeah, it's definitely scary. I also have an animation, like I made a little animation. Um, oh yeah, I'll answer any questions, of course. But I definitely am making a little animation about Rose right now, using one of my favorite songs right now. It's a cover, and I absolutely love it. Oh, sorry, I lost my train of thought. Okay. That happens a lot. I'm just like rambling, and I'm like, oh my gosh, where am I? Yeah, I have a little animation coming with her. I'll probably give a sneak peek. I don't know, maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. I don't know when I'm gonna upload the short, but it's just like a little animation short that I made, and I really like how it came out, so I wanted to show you guys. And it's part of a bigger animation I want to do, but it's just like a little sneak peek, you know, because the animation takes a long time. It takes so long, so I like to give sneak peeks to all my videos before I upload them. I mean, because I'm in the process of making them, and videos for me take forever. I know that some of the videos I want to make too, some of the commentary videos may take a little less time in certain aspects. Like they'll take more editing than drawing, because I'll draw my avatar for the first time, and then, or you know, I had an avatar. We don't talk about my old avatar. She looked a little rough. It was not a good drawing. It was not. It was when I was still working on my style, and it was not it. It was not it. So I'm working on making new avatars for myself and a persona for myself, and then once that's finished, that's gonna be the biggest like aspect, I think, of it. The editing itself, I can edit pretty quickly. I just think it would depend on like how much images I want to input in and stuff like that. That kind of takes a long time, putting the images in, and the duration times, and oh my gosh, it in general, making videos is just so it's just so time consuming, but I love doing it. I commit so much hours to these videos, and I'm absolutely here for it. I absolutely love making videos, but I won't lie. There are some days where I'm working on a video for so long, and I'm like, how is it not done? Like, how have I not completed it yet? Because it's like I've already like worked like 7 hours on it in like one day, and it's still like not quite there yet. Like today, I worked a lot on this video, and I still have 2 more things to draw. Rose did not come out at all like I originally made her. She was one of my newest characters next to Zach. I think even newer than Zach, actually. I think I made, like I said, Zach in like 2020. I think I made Rose in 2021 or 2022. I think. And then I've had Drathir for actually a long time. Drathir is actually a really old character. But this version of Rose, I never really thought about it before because I really liked her design more than anything. And I really liked her design more than just like her persona at the time, because I hadn't really decided on her personality. I hadn't really, like, you know, because when you first, sometimes I make characters that I already know their personality, and then sometimes I make characters where I already know their design. It kind of just depends on what I thought of first for the character. And for Rose, I thought of her design way more than her personality at first. I really liked the design, like the purple hair, kind of making her like look a little bit goth, you know, a little bit alternative in some of her older like outfits and stuff. And then now she has like the skull, or like the skeleton shirt, and the blue eyes and stuff. Oh man, I really love how her design came out now. But it yeah, she was originally going to be for Souls of Paradise, but I wasn't going to make her as evil. She was definitely going to be more of a chill character, kind of like Drathir. But I realized that having 2 chill villains and then one more, like, cold and calculated villain, I was like, I want a little bit more diversity than that for my villains. So I made a crazy one, a chill one, and the cold calculated one. So I realized that it just was going to be boring to have another character. She, in fact, I think at one point I almost didn't want to make her an antagonist because I was like, I really liked her design. I really liked her design, and I was kind of sad that it was going to a villain character arc, but at the same time I was like, man, I can't take every character as I make them good. I already have so many good and neutral characters. I need some antagonists. And so yeah, that's how Rose was born. And then once I created Rose, I ended up creating, I have a couple of other Souls of Paradise characters I actually have not shown yet. They're kind of minor characters, like they're not really like in the story very much, but they are part of like the background characters, so I will have to draw them at one point if I'm gonna do like a big shot of the characters at one point in Souls of Paradise. I do want to do that in one of my upcoming animations. That I don't know how long this animation is gonna take me. I want to animate full color and fully animated, so it's gonna be months. It's gonna be months, I think, of work, and I'm perfectly okay. I am perfectly okay with committing months of work for a video, but especially if Rose is in it, and my other characters as well. But oh my goodness, oh my gosh, I keep looking at like everything that I planned out for the video so far, and I'm like, I don't know how I'm gonna do this with my skills, my current skill set. I was like, I need it. Like, this is a project I need to hire people for, but at the moment I don't have enough resources to hire people, so I'm like, I'll try it on my own and see how it goes. And let me tell you, it's animation. Sure is time consuming. sure is like back-breaking work for hours for like 3 seconds of animation. It is what it is, though. Oh yeah, the laser machine can have so many different effects. It can go off by accident. It can blow up. It can just like completely stop working, and then you try to go fix it, and then it blows up. It's definitely a lot of dangers to Ghost, because it's the only thing that can destroy a soul body, or like a ghost replica body is what I should say. It's the only thing in the afterlife that can destroy a ghost replica body. So yeah, when Thea got his arms like basically torn off from this machine, it was not a joke. Like this thing will actually really mess a ghost replica body up, and it's very dangerous. And so, because once that happens, it also destroys your souls to the point where it doesn't, like, your soul or your soul cells cannot regenerate. So not only does it destroy your soul, I don't know why I keep saying soul, your replica body, and then like it destroys your replica body, and then it prevents your soul cells from regenerating it. Because remember, a ghost body isn't really a body, it's a replica of what they look like when they were alive. But by all intents and purposes, it's just a replica filled with ectoplasm and replica organs and stuff like that. But none of it keeps a ghost alive. They're just kind of there because that's what your body looks like when you die. So, you have organs and stuff. And so your soul replicates that to look as close to you as possible. And by doing so, you're able to have a body while also having a soul, and like a soul you can actually work with, because once you die, you get full control over your soul. And that's basically how a ghost works in my story. I'm sorry, that was really long and complicated. Oh, what the laser looks like? Yeah, I'm gonna have to draw some more. I have a couple of like really awful sketches of what I want it to look like. I have it planned out in my head. I just haven't really sat down and drawn it yet, besides some sketches, like I said. And so, at the moment, it's more of a, it's more of an idea. It's just more of a concept than like something I've written and drawn and gotten, fully modeled for the story. But I know exactly what I want it to look like. And I'm very excited to show you guys once I have that all modeled out. And, yeah. I also am very excited to upload this video because I absolutely love the color scheme. And it's the ghost... Oh, man, I kind of spoiled it. It's the ghost animation meme. And, sorry, I didn't mean to spoil it. But, yeah, it's the ghost animation meme. And I've been wanting to do it for so long. Because, like, bruh, they're ghosts. Like, Like, I was made for the ghost animation meme. My characters were made for it. They've been ready forever. And I kind of just put it off because there was like a whole contest about it. I was like, oh man, it's kind of like died down. I don't know if anyone does this meme anymore. Then I looked at it and I was like, you know what? I don't care. I'm going to do it anyway. Like, I don't care if only 2 people watch it. I like it and I'm going to do it. So that's what I did. So that's why I made it. Because I really like the song. I like the concept. And I really like how it's coming out. So, and there's a little bit of Zach in this one too. No Rose though, sadly. Rose took a break from this one. She's not in this video, but man, that hand just cannot look right today. Oh my goodness, I hate drying hands. Anyway, but Rose is not in this one. She's gonna be in another video. I have a couple of videos that I have one about Isaac finally. Isaac, he deserves some spotlight. Poor Isaac, he has been swept under the rug. I promised he was getting a video, and he is getting one. I'll probably upload it this Friday, actually. I think I'll finally upload the animatic for Isaac. I'm really excited to show you guys. It's a little bit lore heavy. And when you first watch it, it's going to be very confusing. It is going to be very confusing. So I will probably have to put like a pinned comment and explain what is happening in the animatic, because it's a little bit of lore I haven't explained yet. It's a little bit of the ghost lore that can happen that has not been explained yet, and so I can explain it in either a live stream or I can explain the pinned comments of like the comment section for that video. But basically, yeah, it'll look confusing at first, but I promise I will lay it out in as simple terms and understandable terms as I can, because even I don't understand what I'm doing. Well, I mean, like, I get what I want to do, but it's hard because a lot of the stuff I want to do is so intense and so crazy. It's like, man, I gotta, like, come up with, like, really solid explanations for this stuff. Like, it's gonna get really, really, like, eventually no one's gonna know what the heck is going on. Like, I need everyone to be on board. I need everyone to know what's happening. So that's why I've been trying to build up to more, like, complex things, like the wormhole and Astromia and Novatau, and it's like, what are all these terms? What is a wormhole? What is Astromia? Like, what is this? Like, I get it. Like, there's so many terms I talk about in this. Oh no, it's okay. No, I got that. Isaac is definitely. I do feel bad though. I feel like I need to give Isaac some more spotlight. Poor guy. Yeah, I really like his lore too. It's just, his lore is a lot more focused on his past life than actually being a ghost. Whereas a lot of my other ghost characters, their lore is focused on them actively being a ghost. And so I've kind of like left a lot of Isaac's and Chloe's lore behind because, or not behind, but I just haven't really been focusing on it because I've been focusing more on the ghost lore itself and trying to do world building. Because Astromia is basically like Earth. It's very similar to Earth. It's like, you know, it's got cell phones, it's got computers, it's got humans, and really the only thing that's different is the countries are different. It's not taking place on Earth, so there's not like America or Asia or anything on there. There's equivalents to those. There's similar like countries to those that already exist in our world, but it's not like gonna have the same name. And so you'll hear me say the word like Yalvin, which is a race of the humans there, and you'll be like, what is that? What is that? And I'll have to explain what Yalvin is. And then Huelin, which I will also have to explain what that is. And then you're going to hear this and be like, what are you talking about? Like, you're just spouting gibberish. And I'll be like, I'm sorry, my notes. I must have my notes with me. And that's why I really need to make that lore video. Tell you what. The second I get done with this video, that the lore video is all I'm gonna make. I gotta make it. I really want to anyway, and I think it will really clear some things up too. I don't know what that car is. I know Chevys, but I'm really not good with cars. Isaac drives pretty much any car he can get his hands on though. He loves cars. I have my own car brands in my story too. I wrote them down somewhere. I can't think of them off the top of my head. I have my own car brands, and in the afterlife, cars actually fly. They mostly people use them to fly around, and you might be like, well, why does a ghost have a car? Can't they just fly themselves? It's because ghosts are lazy. It really is just, they're lazy. And so a lot of their cars in the afterlife can fly, but ghosts just use it because they're lazy. Which I think is a pretty, like, I feel like that would be me as a ghost. Like, if I was a ghost and I could fly, but it would take a bunch of energy. Like, it's like exercising for ghosts. It takes up a lot of their stamina, it takes up a lot of their energy. I'd probably end up going in a car anyway. You know, and plus it's like electrical because there's no gas or oil because, you know, there's no fossils. There's no, like, that's what oil is, right? It's like fossils or fossil juice, dinosaur juice. I don't know. I actually really don't know what it's made out of. It's made of something. It's called fossil fuels, so I assume it's made from like fossils. I don't know. Who knows? Anyway, but there's electricity because obviously the afterlife doesn't have any fossils. There's no, you know, everyone's already dead. So sorry, I was trying to explain that without going into like graphic detail, but like I didn't know how to do it. I don't know much about the world. I still have so much to learn. I don't even know what oil is. No, I guess I kind of know what it is now. I mean, I just said it out loud. Fossil fuels. Oh, I'm just digging myself into a grave. Just like all my ghost characters. Huh. Cars do exist, but they mostly fly, because ghosts would rather get long distances, because the afterlife is huge. And yes, like I said, it's for lazy ghosts. There's a lot more, like, fly walks is what I like to call them. They're kind of like walkways, but for ghosts to fly, and there's like flying limits in certain areas, just certain areas where you can't fly a certain height, or, you know, something kind of like what a lot of people hypothesize once we get flying cars, because I mean it will happen one day. We always talk about it, but like for some reason it's like the last thing they want to invent that's cool. Like, they're freaking making AI art and dumb stuff, and they're not, like, focusing on making, like, flying cars or jetpacks for the public to use. It's like, come on, man, we're living the future. You're not gonna let me have my flying car yet, dude? Like, come on. Anyway, a lot of people hypothesize that once we have flying cars, they will have, like, height limits. Like, you can't go above, like, 100 feet, and that makes sense. Like, I would assume you couldn't do that for telephone wires, or heck, it may not even be 100 feet. It may only be like 10 feet or 20 feet. You may have to ride really low to the ground at first. And once again, for telephone poles or electrical wires, or in general, the birds, like the poor bird population. I will say that's the only thing I'm not looking forward to with flying cars, because I feel like the bird population would be greatly affected. And I love birds, and I think they're beautiful. And I really, really be sad if anything happens to birds, because I absolutely love them. I'm sorry, I really love birds. I would get a bird if they weren't such a high maintenance animal, and as well as my cat. I just don't think it would be a good combination. How did I get on this topic? I have no idea. But yeah, yes, cars exist in the ghost world. That's all I had to say. Going on to a rant about like 20 other things. This is why I have to have a script for my videos, man. This is why when I make my lore video, I absolutely have to have a script, because I can guarantee you I'm going to go off like 20 different topics. Like, I'll be talking about like Steven Universe by the end of it, or like Mars, or like the universe itself. Something completely random and off topic that has nothing to do with my story at all. So I'll have to write a script, and I'll have to finish it, and I'll have to make my avatar, and oh my gosh, it's really not, I mean, I guess it's not gonna be that, but like that time consuming. I guess I'm more worried about what my avatar is gonna look like now, because I've changed so much, and you know, I want my avatar to be more of a representation of me itself. So I'm gonna have some ideas. Well, as a ghost, I mean, you don't even have to kick the door down. You can just waltz right through it. You could just go through it, you know, use your ghost power and go right through the door. You did have to be careful, though, because instead of locking doors, I did come up with this a little bit ago, like really recently, but instead of locking doors, I decided there will just be like a laser barrier. Not the Souls of Paradise lasers, but more of a simple laser that will deter ghosts from going through the door. So they'll have like an invisible laser barrier on doors, and so in order to lock it, you just press a button and the barrier goes up or it goes down. And yeah, no reason to lock doors if your ghost can just go through it, so you gotta find another way to stop them from going into places you don't want them to go. Otherwise, why would there be buildings at all? You know. Once again, though, it's not like crime is really controlled well in the afterlife anyway. But, you know, obviously people don't want their homes burglarized as much as it will happen anyway. So yeah. Did I make Ray's hair kind of too crazy? No, Ray's hair looks different every time I draw it. I'm really working on trying to get his hair down because Ray's hair is like the most divisive thing. Is like one of the only things I've gotten flack for in my art. Like I got flack about the long necks or the long necks on my characters. I'm working on it. I'm changing the necks. I already see this neck is too long. I'm already going and changing it. Please don't comment on my videos anymore. That one person, if they're watching my stream. I'm joking. None of you guys. It would be none of you guys watching my stream. It was someone that I did not want on my channel anymore. I was like, please leave me alone. This is like the second time you've commented about my characters and my art style. Like, please leave me alone. But yeah, no, that person, I have not seen them since. Hopefully I will never see them again. Yeah, I'm actually still working on Darth Vader's I wish I could talk. HQ. His HQ design is going to be very technical. I can already see it. I want it to be like technical and advanced and like have like lasers outside. And oh man, I'm so excited. It'll probably be one of those HQs that look really harmless on the outside. And then when you try to walk in, you get like blasted in the face with a laser. I'm feeling like that's what the route I'm going to go for. But like I said, a lot of stuff is still in work in progress as I am a busy college student with work. So I wish I had more time to sit down and plan out my story. But I mean, I'm not in a hurry. You know, I'm not in a hurry. I like developing my story as I go. It helps me because it's like, it's difficult to develop a fully fledged story in like the matter of a few months. Like, I've been working on this for years, and so even that's not enough to fully develop a story yet. And so yeah, I'm very excited. I enjoy talking about it, enjoy hypothesizing about it. Hopefully it's not too crazy that my story's all over the place and still not finished, but I feel like most people understand that. I think most people go into YouTube not having a full story for their characters yet. Unless they already came from like making webtoons or something, then I can understand that. And then you also have like the people who have actually like made cartoons and like made animation stuff already, and then they're just expanding upon it. Oh man, dude, I love watching people's stories so much. But yeah, unfortunately my story has a lot of holes in it. It still has a lot that I'm writing, a lot of things I'm getting wrong still about my own story, which is crazy, but when you have so much like lore and information, it does get lost. And so that's why I'm trying to write as much of it down as I possibly can think of, because I'll come up with a really, really small part of my story, so small, and then I'll forget it. And it's like that wasn't a really important part of my story that I really needed to write down at that moment. So yeah, the fun of being a story maker. I love it, but some days I loathe it because I am just so like I'm looking at like all the plot holes in my story and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this is gonna take like a million years to fix. But yeah, when you make a story about the afterlife, it's unfortunately there's just a lot of stuff you have to worry about that you wouldn't normally worry about in a story where it's just humans. There's a lot of things like, why do ghosts really do anything? Like, why do they even have buildings if they're ghosts? Like, you know, they have cars. All that stuff I have to find explanations for in my story. And that gets really, really tiring really fast when you realize just how many things you have to answer for. So, yeah, it will be in a work in progress for a very long time. I always love speculations like that. The main character becoming evil, I've seen that in a lot of media. I think it looks, or it works really nicely depending on how you do it. I will say this though, Ray is my baby. He is my baby. I could not see him becoming evil ever. He definitely wants, you know, revenge. He's definitely like very angry about what happened to him, but he's not someone who I would ever see becoming like an evil person. There will, however, be moral issues with all my characters. All of my characters, you know, will do bad stuff occasionally. And that shows because people do bad stuff even if they're not bad people sometimes. This is not serious stuff. This is like minor stuff. Like if you cut off someone in traffic. Like, yeah, that was dangerous. Yeah, that was bad. But we all make mistakes. As long as you know better next time and don't do that again, you know, and try your best not to. I'm not talking about serious mistakes. I want to make that clear. Like, some things, yes, if you do a bad thing and it's a horrible thing, yeah, you know, that's really not good. You're really not a good person. But people make mistakes. If they're small mistakes that didn't really hurt anyone, you know, move on. And so all my characters make small mistakes. And, you know, they may be worse than others, but at the end of the day, none of my characters do evil things. You know what I mean? Yeah, for sure. And another thing that's really serious about the soul power and becoming powerful is that it's very easy to walk down that path. It's very easy for a ghost to become super powerful and no longer be a good person because they're just so powerful now that they don't see a reason why they shouldn't be a bad person, why they shouldn't use their power for their own selfish needs. And so you do have that happening with Rose a lot. You know, she's incredibly powerful. She's, you know, very dangerous. She doesn't see why she should hold back at that point, you know? And so you gotta be careful when you're using your soul power. It can corrupt a lot of people, even good people. May even be a character arc for Rei. I don't know. I've been thinking about it. But yeah, once again, corruption arcs are always like interesting to write because they're not always evil arcs, but characters can be influenced. So for sure, any of my ghost characters could have became like Rose. For sure. Although she already has a lack of empathy, like I've said before. So, I mean, realistically, most of my characters in my story that are main have forms of empathy. You know, not everyone has the same form of empathy, but, you know, I would think that naturally, the less empathy someone has, the more likely they're going to do something that may hurt others. Just my 2 cents. Not always, of course. Empathy is a very, very complicated thing. It's not always mean you're a good or bad person. It just means how much you can sympathize or empathize with someone, and it may be easier to feel less when you're doing something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to speak very, I'm trying not to speak too much about this stuff because I don't understand it a whole lot, and I don't want to speak about things I don't know, and I don't want to make it seem like anyone with a lack of empathy is a bad person, because you're not. You're not a bad person just for having a lack of empathy. That's just a human trait. But you may be more likely to do things that may hurt other people because you genuinely don't realize you're doing it. And so that's all I was trying to say. Once again, I'm trying to be very careful about how I say things like this because, you know, I would never want to hurt anyone's feelings or make anyone feel like they're a bad person just for something they can't control. And you can't control your empathy. That's just something you have as a human, and some people just don't have any. And that's, you know, a very controversial topic that I'm gonna stop talking about because I'm not a psychologist. But yeah, for sure, anyone, you know, and also want to make it clear that some of my characters are good characters and still also have a lack of empathy. Does not mean that you're a bad person. Does not mean they're a bad character either. Illness, it was actually cancer, which is hard for me to talk about since my dad has cancer, but I had her have cancer in my story. Part of me kind of wanted to change it because it is hard for me to write about, and so but I thought it was important to show that anyone can get cancer at any age, and it's something really serious. Sorry we just got into something really, bunch of really serious topics, but you know, cancer is a very serious thing, and so that's what Chloe died from, and so it's something that is unfortunately, even when you're young, it can happen. And I always want to encourage people to check with their doctors, make sure you're checking on yourself. It can happen at any age. It can happen to even the healthiest of people. And so it's a horrible thing. I hate cancer. I hate cancer. It took my cat, and my dad has it too. And so, yeah, I hate cancer. But that's the illness I did choose to go with. I think it's important to realize, and I think a lot of people can relate too. You know, a lot of us have loved ones with or who have had cancer. It's unfortunate. Oh no, don't worry about it. Don't even worry about it. I am the one that made her have the cancer. I understand talking about it will always be a little sensitive for me because I was the one that did it. So don't even worry about it. Don't even worry about it. Don't even apologize. that was the route I decided to take. I really like spreading awareness for stuff like that. It's always important to take care of yourself, check signs of anything, and just try to live as, the best life you can, because cancer is also not preventable. Some of it just happens, you can't do anything about it. So just always get doctor checkups and live the best of your life. Don't worry about it. Obviously, I've come to terms with my dad's cancer, and I did choose to put it in my story, and I knew doing so, it would be a hard subject for me to talk about when it came down to it, to Chloe's backstory, but don't even worry about it. It's something I've already dealt with it. I've already come to terms with it. My dad's doing a lot better, and it's just something that it can happen to anyone, which is the reason that I made it Chloe's backstory. And so, yeah, and it's like I said, very relatable. A lot of people know someone who's had cancer, who has had cancer, or hit my mic, or some people even have cancer themselves. It's a very serious thing, and unfortunately it's a huge issue right now. A lot of people are getting cancer. It's sadly very common, and so, yeah, don't even worry about it. I talk about death, I talk about Ghost Mask a lot, all these characters, they had lives, and they're in an afterlife, and it's supposed to be a fun story, but there are parts of the story that get very sad and very depressing. I do want to put warnings on there that some of these topics do get really dark. And so I try my best to keep everything lighthearted, though, just so I'm not upsetting anyone, just so that no one feels like I'm just using it for a story for dramatic effect when I'm not. These characters are characters that I put parts of my life into as well, because it helps me cope. It helps other people cope. It's good to see it and see what happens and see how it can happen to anyone. And so stuff like that is stuff I enjoy putting in my story, because I know it helps me and it helps other people. And there are issues we can't ignore. You can make a story where nothing happens like that, and that's fine. Or you can make a story where something like that happens, and you're maybe helping other people realize and realize the situation for other people if they haven't already dealt with it, or you're maybe helping them cope as well. And so don't even worry about, like I said, I'm sorry, I'm very apologetic. I never want to make anyone feel bad about asking any sort of thing, so I'm sorry if I did. Really genuinely did not mean to. Absolutely nothing wrong with asking me questions about my characters' deaths. All of them I've written, so I have no problems answering any questions about them. And Chloe's death, like I said, it's very sad, and she's a very sweet character. But all, my characters are as happy ending as they can have in an afterlife with their loved ones. So, I try to keep things positive, and there are positive aspects of my story, but there are also very serious ones that I think a lot of people, humans, a lot of people can relate to. So, yeah, sorry, I talk a lot, and I get very apologetic very quickly, and I have a hard time talking about difficult topics. But I definitely think, yeah. What's that? Oh yeah, absolutely. And it's kind of interesting too, because Zach knows he can see without his mask. He knows he can see basically with his soul. As crazy as that sounds, he can see with his soul through his mask. He knows he has an advantage there, and he knows how much how crazy it is, because people will think he can't see until he suddenly comes up on you with a giant spear or something, or a soul spear, and then destroys you, and you're like, what the heck? I thought you couldn't see. So yeah, for sure the mask can be used for bad. And all my other Souls of Paradise characters have their own mask, but like I said, Zach's mask I think is the most important, because I'm about to also upload a short where I kind of show a little bit about, how did Zach get his mask? How did he obtain it? And he had to basically, when they were designing for Souls of Paradise, Zach was originally the one that came up with the main ideas, but he recruited Rose, he recruited Arthur, he recruited other people, and everyone was trying to pick the leader. Some people didn't think Zach was fit to be a leader, so he had to prove it somehow. And by killing Ray, that's how he proved it. And that's how he obtained that specific mask. So not only was that the first mask of the group, but it's the mask of the leader, Zach. And so, yeah. Yeah, basically. I mean, aren't all ghosts though? Basically, John Cena. Now you see me. You can't see me. Basically. Oh man. Oh my gosh, I always think of the John Cena meme. It's the meme / theme of his song. Every single time I see his name, I'm just like, John Cena. Do 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 do. Oh my gosh, please don't copyright me on that YouTube. It was like 2 seconds. I don't know how crazy YouTube gets with its copyright, but oh my gosh. Whew. I've also just realized we hit like 50 minutes, and I realized it is getting super late. But I had a very fun stream tonight. Sorry for getting into such serious topics this time. I definitely I try to keep everything lighthearted, but as a creator of a story with a bunch of ghosts, things will get kind of dark and sad. But I try to keep it lighthearted. Like I said, I try to keep it lighthearted. I try to keep things not super dark, because I don't want y'all to be super sad or depressed while listening to me. You know, this is definitely supposed to be a fun and uplifting podcast where I talk about my story. If y'all want me to do anything else while I talk about it too, like I don't have to draw. I can play a game, or I can just have like drawings up, like a screen show. I don't know. But I can figure out other ways. I'm definitely not gonna have a webcam anytime soon though. Sorry. No face reveal yet. No face reveal. I'm not a webcam streamer for sure. I definitely don't want to show my face. Just for personal reasons. And so yeah, if I do, I've always wanted to try VTubing, but I have no idea how VTubing works. Absolutely no idea. The people that do it, Jesus, like you look like you've made like the most complicated model of anything. It's so impressive to me. I don't know how people VTube. I have no idea, but it looks so good. It looks so nice. But yeah. I will go ahead and wrap it up. Thank you guys so much for coming to yet another stream. As always, I appreciate your time here, and I appreciate you spending a little bit of time with me talking about my beloved ghost mask. Sorry once again, it got so sad. I was trying to keep it light. I'll try not to talk about super sad things. But yeah, I definitely think it's important to talk about. Sometimes you gotta talk about serious things. So I don't want to ignore serious things. Just, not talk about them if you, don't have to, or if it's not really relevant. But yeah, I hope you guys had fun. And I will have a short coming soon. I have a main video, an actual video coming out this week. It's going to be with Isaac. It's going to be a short little animac. I'm really excited to show you guys. That will be very fun. So, I hope you guys have a good night, though. Thank you for joining me. And, as always, I really appreciate your guys' time. And also thank you guys so much for all the support on the videos. I always get really, really happy when I see people commenting, people subscribing, people liking, and that all supports my channel a lot. Like I said, I do this for fun, but I do still appreciate all the likes and the nice comments as well. So thank you all again. I still can't believe I'm at 300 subscribers. It's kind of hard for me to imagine. I'm really, really happy with it, but yeah, I really appreciate it, and I appreciate any of you who've joined me once again. I've said that like 3 times. I'm really sorry. I'm really repetitive. Oh my gosh, I say sorry like 20 times a stream. Yeah, I hope you all have a very good night, and I will see you next Monday for another stream, and this week with a main video and a short. So have a good night. See y'all later.